And if you wind up in a spot where you have 500 bags in the pool, you can also power level on that. I might would have taken attack 2 there with that 200-point bag, but it looks like MiRai's got enough to get attack 2 anyway.
Yeah, if you get enough to get attack 2, saves 1 menu taking it in that order, and just enough to... Ooh, CS Tutor finding another continent. Looks like the east. There's a raft tile there, and it's islands.
I think that's Death Mountain, actually.
Could definitely be Death Mountain. We do know that's one end of our raft. Spelltown gonna require the medicine today.
Spells.
Yeah, it's a spell.
1 of 3 6s on the west. We don't know which one. CS Tutor elected not to go in a little bit to check.
Yeah, not unreasonable.
Glove acquired for MiRai, and it looks like Thunder was in Sorrow.
Plenty of 200-point bags, it looks like, in this small enemy pool. Both MiRai and CS Tutor have picked up one so far. Nothing in the far south end of the canyon.
Looks like we have either Heart Container Cave, or actually this should be Heart Container Cave, based off of not having come in from the top. That's a pretty tough enemy set. Looks like Maria and Dara?
Yeah, pretty rude one there.
Not ideal.
Okay, MiRai also finding 1-ups in the small enemy pool. Or those might actually be large enemies, I don't remember. Yeah,
Cross on the grass tile, Heart Cave has boots!
So, basically the freest seed ever.
Totally. Now, I'm still convinced that that's DM and not the East, but...
It definitely could be DM. It's kind of hard to tell. Just see the screen, and neither runner was interested. When you have a dry canyon in the West, you really want to just search through all of it.
Looks like we have Jump in Jump Town.
Okay, it's a little bit unfortunate if our runners want downstab.
Just find Fairy. Problem solved.
Yep, MiRai trying to get a red iron knuckle here just to see what it is and get a level and potentially up A here, but it takes him 3 tries.
Goes ahead and takes life 3, given that the red iron knuckles have butts.
Yeah, not great experience for any of the large enemies so far. Rebanak rides with the heart as well.
So that item probably doesn't get gotten unless the runners accidentally run into it, in which case I'll probably take the free heart. Oh, that's a 500 bag.
Okay, that's worth taking an axe for.
Also, attack 3 is really cheap. 370.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. Potentially mean that MiRai could get a life level up from killing these enemies here. Probably not, though. No, 5 and 70. Just down rolls all around.
I don't think the runners are going to get levels. Thunder is castable on 5 containers, though. Very important.
Yeah, that's actually kind of surprising for Magic 1.
Yeah. So I think with that, you might be willing to be a little bit more risky on some of your combat, just because you can pop a Thunder once if you need to.
Yeah, for sure. Thunder is just a handy get out of jail free card.
Bag Cave for MiRai as we get a key.
Okay. So we've got keys, we've got 1-ups, we've got 500 bags. It's just the nicest drop pool ever.
All we need now is a red jar. Life 4 is pretty good here. I honestly, okay. I think taking the magic levels later here makes sense given the Thunder's the only level that they have.
Yeah, and it's unlikely to get to the point where he's going to get 2 casts anytime soon. There's the raft, so
that makes DM more fun.
Yeah, in that you could just disregard all of it and move on with your life.
Yeah. And it also like disregarding the entirety of Death Mountain.
Yeah, I mean, Island's DM when you have boots is really not that bad to navigate. Although, without a hammer, it's not that valuable to navigate either.
Okay, it looks like that pass-through cave we saw was very cave. I would pop a Thunder here just to see if it gets an XP. Yeah, but it's butts. Oh, Thunder's cost did go down to 72.
Okay, that's not relevant, but...
And was he fine Shield Town?
Okay, Shield's a good spell.
Yeah, I think between Shield or Life, Shield is by and far the more consistent safety.
Yeah.
Life just feels really good when it rolls to 5 hearts.
Yeah, and even if Life is consistently 3 hearts, I think it improves its value some. Like, the difference between how nice 5 hearts is versus 3 hearts is not as much as the ridiculous difference between 3 hearts and 1. You get 1 heart life, and you're like, wow, why did I even pick this up?
Yeah. Looks like both 3 and 6 are going to be on the west.
My favorite 1 heart life, though, is when you get Fire Life, and it's only 1 heart.
Oh, at that point, it doesn't matter how much life is. Fire costs, like, what, 6 magic at the end?
Yeah, you get fired down to 8 magic, and it's just like, well, I'll just press the button 4 or 5 times, and we'll get out of whatever hole I'm in.
Push the button.
Yeah, so both of our runners basically, exploring the end of the other one, and probably we're going to see an up A out of this cave for cstutor. He's going to move on with his life.
What a set of palaces in the west. You get 3/6 in GP and 2 hammer block caves.
Yeah, it's not the worst in that, especially since you already know the item in 3 is nothing, you could just say, well, forget the palaces in the west. I'm going to do everything else first. Then I'm going to up A and just full clear the west into GP.
To be honest, I would have rather it been P5 versus P3 on the west, just because, well, that means you have to go through Death Valley to potentially find P5, and if you don't know that it's P5 by the time you get up there, it feels bad.
Yeah, so that rock block cave is probably Medicine Cave.
Oh, there was another pass-through that led to Death Mountain.
Okay.
And this is definitely Death Mountain. There's way too many cave entrances.
Yep.
Folded.
Yep. This is definitely Death Mountain, and probably the cave is also Death Mountain, which means that raft is going to lead to the east. It's definitely not going to lead to Maze Island. We haven't seen the bridge yet. It could lead to Maze Island. Little known bug that we only recently discovered that we were trying to nail down whether it actually happens or not. It turns out that probably since 4.0, taking a cave off of Maze Island is not in logic.
Oh, interesting.
There's a bug in the logic that taking a cave to Maze Island is in logic. And obviously taking a cave out of Maze Island could still be valuable, but it can't be the case that you are required to take a cave off of Maze Island to beat a seed.
This east feels like it's beach blocked by sheer virtue of the fact that there's it's an island biome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we have a dry canyon, and then it's like, all right, forget that noise, all islands.
Oh wait, no, is that a caldera?
Is it?
Like an island's caldera? Is that a thing?
No, but I mean the Valley of Death can do some stuff if CS Tutor finds a flute, so you were hoping for a hammer requirement here, and it is rapidly becoming the only item that could be required.
I mean, just look at how much lava this is.
Yeah, no, this is this definitely still does look like Highlands East. It spawned a big patch of lava.
So much lava.
Ooh, this is a difficult encounter for CS Tutor. Got
Yeah.
a Moa and a without downstab. I think he did the smart thing. He's got Thunder prepped. I think he's just going to use it to sort of force his way through here.
I'm a little surprised that Tutor didn't like to go to right.
Yeah, right would have been nicer. A little bit longer of a route, but you're not going to have to go through any... I was going to say you don't have to go through any Gazalfos, but that's not true anymore either. But at least this red one he can stab in the feet.
200 XP. Finally, something does not give butts.
So MiRai spent a bunch of time... well, I didn't say a bunch of time. MiRai's spending more time than CS Tutor digging around looking for a Hammer Cave in Death Mountain. It's going to be a little bit behind Tutor here in his East exploration, but probably not in a way that matters.
I'm a little surprised Tutor didn't like to go and stab the statue to see if that was okay. They're going back. This is Tutor. Yeah.
I'm a little surprised CS Tutor hasn't... Did he up A there, or it didn't look like he did?
No, he picked up a red jar in a forced encounter.
Yeah, he's down to his last life, so a death here would be scary when you're only at life 2.
I would honestly expect to see him pick up the spell and then up A and go back.
Yeah, that could be true.
Spell, and
Yeah.
he's required for 4.
Okay. That's so now MiRai and CS2 are having the opposite ends of what they need to beat that palace.
I like the shield cast here.
Yeah, I mean death hurts a decent amount. Okay,
And
yeah,
there's the
he's
up
okay. He is going to take the up A. Not going to go exploring. Makes sense. You know, Fairy Spell is out here somewhere. He's hoping Fairy Spell does not require the kid. I think we're hoping the opposite.
Well, here's Maze Island with a P5, so that's going to put P1 in Valley of Death, which is kind of annoying because you like. Well, it's not terrible actually.
Yeah.
Tutor didn't go for those 2 items though.
Yeah, I would have definitely tried to get those 2 items while I was there, but it's not. I mean, there's still easily accessible items on the east as well. I think he may be thinking, I know this fairy is probably free. I want to get fairy spells so that, you know, once I go onto the maze, I can clear the palace as it's there.
We have Mirai looking up the hint for the Darunia spell. So I didn't quite catch what the Darunia spell is, but
Yeah, I didn't catch what it is either, but if Mirai's looking for the hint, it's probably fairy.
And it's P1.
Okay.
I mean, it could also be, let's see, what other spells I can block items that we're missing. You've seen Spell.
Yeah, both the runners have Thunder already, so...
I guess it could be Fire. You're gambling on Fire.
Yeah, you get Fire Thunder could be useful. I mean, yeah, Fire Fairy, just eliminate having to find that somewhere else.
Fire Life would not be bad for reasons mentioned earlier.
Yeah, indeed.
We'll
CS Tutor going to get confirmation. Okay,
Fire.
it is Fire. CS Tutor
that's-
not going to get the hint.
That's interesting. With whatever's in this town just below. So we'll see what this is. Tutor's actually going to go back and check its life.
That means that Fairy is in New Casuto. And I don't believe we've seen it so far. We could be hammer blocked out of getting Fairy Spell.
Oh, come on. Put Hammer in P5. Do a game.
We would need to get the Eddie key for that. We could have Hammer in Hammer Cave. That'd be a fun one still possible in Logic. We could get Eddie key in Hammer Cave. And then need to go into the palaces to find the hammer.
Or just put the Eddie key on Maze Island. Imagine that for a twist of fate.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely growing in possibility right now, but Mirai, sort of having routed the east differently, decides he is going to check this maze before continuing on, and hopefully he'll find something, because we're rapidly running out of locations where things could be, as I am immediately proven wrong as Mirai leaves the maze.
Gonna find P2. Find the red jar. Do we have here in Risen Cave Heart?
Okay, that's nice to find, but not a hammer.
Now, we're assuming it's hammer blocked to begin with. It could just be in a passive cave that you just have to go through for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's kind of unlikely on islands. We have seen a single forest tile, but I'm not sure if anyone walked over it to check. It's one of those things where if New Casino is blocked by the hammer, it'll always be a single forest tile. But it is possible to just have the rando accidentally generate a single forest tile. There's nothing that prevents it.
To me, it looks like the runners are assuming that that single forest tile we've seen is New Casino. First item in Maze Island is... that's not terrible. Especially if the hammer is blocked by the containers.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's the hammer couldn't be blocked by containers. If we are saying that we're going to need the hammer for New Casino, then we're not going to have any container blocks for the hammer.
Minor detail. Although it could be hammer. Well, I guess it could be container blocked in queue. But then you have fairy. But the key is still far more convenient than fairy to have.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially because fairy at Magic 3, fairy can be still expensive. +1 on the blue is almost 300.
Nice.
Yeah, neither of our runners wanted to start digging into encounters, but it looks like you don't have a choice. You really just have to start plowing your face into this maze.
Yeah. So I guess here's a question. Given that I got eliminated in this tournament very early, I feel like I can ask this. If you let's say you pick up fairy here, as we see the second item on Maze Island. Do you immediately go back west to get your down stab before you go palace jumping, or do you continue to look for things you can get and start jumping into palaces without down stab?
In an ordinary world, where you have to go from the west through Death Mountain through to the east, I would want to avoid as much as possible going back to the west, just because it would be a long trip. In this particular seed, the trip from the west to the east is so short that I would immediately go and get down stab. But CS Tutor may decide differently, and since he's the one who knocked me out of this tournament, he probably knows better.
We all know the correct answer is just go get upstab.
Oh, boo! All right, we were looking for complicated, crazy things to fill out this seed, and instead we got just everything is free.
Hey, look, this hammer was not necessarily free if it took 18 minutes each to get to this game.
Yeah, but MiRai is gonna pick up Fairy Spell very shortly after knocking down the way to New Casino with his hammer, and going to be in go mode sub 20 minutes.
Yeah, then you just got to do palaces, which I think if you're in I think considering you have both of your potential rebos on the west, down stab really is only going to help you for Helmet Head in terms of combat. Well, you do only have 5 containers, so that might be a little bit squirrely depending on how much magic you need for GP.
Yeah, ordinarily MiRai really likes to have down stab before doing 6 because he has gotten quite good at doing jackhammer on Barba. But
right, but with 3 and 6 being on the west, I could almost see MiRai saying, "Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do all my palaces, and I'm going to have down stab before 6."
Yeah, and I don't think he's likely to get jump spell either here because that's going to require the trophy, and who knows where that is.
Probably in P5.
Fairy is 37, so MiRai does have 2 casts. CS Tutor will not when he gets it. And unfortunately, Tutor just didn't find that last cave on the east and is now looking for Hammer Cave, and that is going to be a big time loss.
Yes. Now, caveat that with if Tutor comes out of this with the any key, that opens a window for them to start making some ground up because they won't have to cast Fairy to get the key. So any key in Hammer Cave is actually Tutor's best bet.
Yeah, and MiRai is going to immediately go and get down stab. But we'll see if he decides to do 3 and 6 first or goes back to the east.
I feel like there is a chance of required downstab with some of the community rooms. Same with required upstab.
Yes, especially in some of the GP rooms. But MiRai... So the interesting thing is ordinarily MiRai would not get upstab because he is pretty proficient at doing the upstab skip. And there's only one room that like absolutely necessarily 100% requires upstab if you can do that. But that requires jump, and with jump being blocked behind a mystery trophy, I think we're going to see MiRai do this more conventionally.
Yeah. And if you do the wibble wobble for Thunderbird, then upstab helps a lot with that. But pretty sure we're just going to see pendulums as we find Hammer Cave.
Yeah, we're going to see what's in here. I mean, it could be any key. Any key would be really big for Tutor.
Anything but any key, and it's probably a dud.
Yeah. MiRai hitting that statue. Okay, I know he's looking for a jar because this room is key blocked, and he wants to get a free ferry across it. But it's a 50-50, and MiRai's luck on 50-50s today has been very bad.
There it is.
Yeah,
I do like the choice. I do like the usage of shield just to get enough down to be able to go.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Just gonna ferry across the top. I believe MiRai picked up a key earlier, so that actually does save him a key.
Yes, I believe that's the case. I know we have seen at least one runner pick up keys. We're not sure who it is. Ooh, 200 for Doom Knockers.
And trophy in Hammer Cave.
Okay, that's going to be good for jump spell, I believe, but not...
That is down.
Yeah, that is downstab for him. And I think he's going to go get it.
But then the question is, how do you deal with, like, do you just start jumping in the palaces and hoping you find an key?
That seems very unlikely at this point for CS Tutor. I mean, because it's not... He knows that the hammer is required for fairy spell, and so... It's possible that a palace has an key, but like he only has one, maybe two keys in reserve. It's a difficult proposition. I think he has to just assume that the hammer is going to be, somewhere easy to find logically that he just missed back in the east.
Right.
Because we know that he found everything on the west, everything on the east, except for Medicine Cave, which was hammer blocked, and Sunken Peabag Cave, which contains a hammer.
Yep.
And he's got that correctly tracked on his tracker. He just missed it. And unfortunately, it's going to put him a decent amount behind here.
Yeah. That's a key bear. Okay, that's two keys in this room. So this, you probably want to go ahead and just clear out. If you can.
Yeah, with MiRai having access to two casts, he doesn't necessarily need to grab all these keys, but he just wants them.
Well, there's also the question of, okay, how much are you willing to... Like, how much magic are you truly willing to use to get through all the doors when you could just get a couple of keys and then you have extra magic for other casts such as Thunder if you need it, Fairy if you need it for a Fairy blocked room and not a key door. Shield could be nice to have.
Yeah, and at the current cost of Fairy, it is... he can get two casts, but it's a narrow two casts. It's just barely enough. He couldn't even cast like a shield or something like that and still be okay.
Right. And so I think there is some value in taking the extra little bit of time to go ahead and get those keys. Item room here. This could be nice. Could be a magic.
If this is a 3, this is a heart for sure. If it's 6, it could be something nice. Yeah.
It's a candle.
Okay. Well, we talked about not finding candles in the overworld. That's another bug fixed for 4.3. Please look forward to it.
So that means that this is indeed 6. MiRai will go ahead and finish this off and then head over to presumably 3, knock that out, and then head over to the east and never come back here until he's ready for GP.
Yep. Is this the Canadian hole room?
I don't think so.
I was gonna say, without jump spell, the Canadian hole jump is tricky with this terrain type. This is not the worst, but it is the second worst.
Yeah, I think Canadian hole room is the short statues, the iron knuckles on top.
Ah, yes.
See, if it's a vanilla room, I have at least some knowledge of it. If it's a community room, I just assume it's a death mount.
Yeah. That's fair.
Here's Barba. So if I'm not jackhammering, which is every time I fight Barba because I don't actually know how to jackhammer, I always go left hit.
Wow, MiRai deciding he had enough health to tank one of those hits. Oh, this is a strat I haven't seen out of him recently. He's getting so close that the fire can't hit him. Extremely perilous.
I need to learn how to actually fight Barba properly.
I mean, you don't need to.
I just stand over by the left pit and stab and... Ooh, that's an attack level. That's quite nice.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to get the double level here with attack and life. Very nice.
Yeah, and knowing that MiRai's very comfortable running T-Bird on attack 5, and honestly probably would run it on attack 4 if it was convenient. But the odds of having to run T-Bird on attack 4 with 5 gems still left to place is pretty low. I don't think MiRai's going to be doing a whole lot of extra grinding for levels unless it's like, oh, you need 20 XP to get a double level out of a palace game.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see MiRai get probably 2 more levels up to 566, and then we're just gonna see the rest of the gems lit on fire.
I don't know. I feel like you did. I feel like. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I said, who needs experience, right? Attack 6 is cheating.
Look, I feel like if you're walking all the way to the palace anyway, you might as well let the XP roll while you're walking to the palace.
Yeah, but if you do that, then it costs like 8 or 9 seconds waiting for the little jingle to play.
Well, that's only if you have a really good walk to the palace, at which point you just up A in the palace, and or you just go for it. Also, yeah. Immediate rebo. Buy 3.
Yep. Hard container not going to be picked up. MiRai also showing up another neat trick when the boss reward is something you can pick up with a fairy. It is approximately a second faster to ferry up to the top of the screen and pick it up top rather than waiting for it to come down to you.
No, you see, this is exactly what I mean when I say that you just let the XP roll while you're walking to the next palace. You do exactly this, especially if you don't need the lives.
Yeah, it's all just a matter of, you know, how much time do you want to save? How risky do you want to be? What? Oh man, cstutor. I think he just missed that. Okay, here he is. He did find. I was like, is this the right cave? Did he double dip in a cave? But no, cstutor has finally found that sunken pea bag cave. Picked up his hammer. He's gonna have his fairy spell shortly, and we'll see how he decides to route these palaces.
Alright, now on Magic 6. Heading back into Darunia, presumably to pick up Upstep.
Yeah, he knows he's not going to be jumping anytime this seed. And so, gonna cast Fairy a few times to keep his magic down.
I think, you know, I once was messing around with casting Fairy as much as possible, and I actually ran into the limit of how much magic it restores.
Yeah, a red jar will recover magic equal to the total amount of magic of, you know, your current capacity. I believe the lady recovers 255 magic.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes, and it is absolutely possible to burn through all of that.
Tutor's about to pick up the fairy spell as MiRai's about to go into P.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's the closest palace. MiRai doing a bit too much damage, taking a bot for it, but...
Over-under on this being a sub-hour.
I mean, I'll take the under on an hour here.
Honestly, I'm kind of thinking the same thing, especially because the only long palace left after this is 5, which is over on the Maze Island, which...
Yeah, 6 wasn't too long. 5 is going to be quick. MiRai...
3 was free.
Yeah, we know that MiRai has easy access, and then he'll be able to do 1 last and just up A out of Valiant F pretty easily.
I think is generally the way that you want to do it. Is at least I always try to do the Valley of Death Palace at the very end.
Yeah. So is this 2 for CS Tutor? I think he stayed on the east. I think this is 2. Okay.
Yeah, I believe this is 2.
And we've got.
Yeah, this should be 2. I think the first
got
2 dark.
An extremely vanilla eco key with both the MOA and the key up top.
Normally it's bubbles.
And Tutor going to turn around to get the key. Understandable. He still only has 1 cast of Fairy per life. These keys are a premium for him.
Yeah. Immediate glove block. It's a good thing the glove was really hard to... Oh, wait, it was free.
Yep. Everything was free.
A little bit interesting that Tutor is electing not to take any levels here. I would go ahead and pick up Life in Magic 3.
I think he's pushing for Magic 3. I think he wants to be able to get 2 casts, and he also wants this refill. He is going to find the item here in P4.
Hey, look, it's Horsehead.
Yeah, and it's Horsehead who isn't broken.
As we find Karak here in 4 for MiRai. Getting a little fancy with it and takes a bop.
Yep, just medicine here.
I mean, medicine lets you get the spell that was in, which I think was... Spell?
Yes, I believe it was spell. We know that that spell is going to be useless, but...
Gonna go ahead and use that jump to get that key.
Interesting, CS Tutor took attack 4 over Magic 3 here.
Well, CS Tutor also up 8.
Yeah, but... I would have expected once he knows that he's going to need to cast Fairy for these, that he would try to get to a second cast. But maybe he's thinking this is a strategy that could be helpful sometimes. Obviously, helpful in vanilla of hold off on getting a magic level and then take a magic level in a palace when you need an extra cast of Fairy.
Yeah,
and sort of cheese out an extra cast from the refill. As MiRai also finds himself here in 2.
We'll see if MiRai turns back around to pick up that key.
Don't think he's going to. Yeah, he decides against. I also think if he finds the item room, we're going to see him turn back around as well and not pick that up.
That one I'm not entirely convinced about. Only because an additional magic container might be helpful. In terms of, I believe with the amount of magic he has, even at Magic 6, he can't cast Thunder Shield.
Yeah.
So he may pick up the extra magic container if it would enable Thunder Shield. But outside of that, I'm not entirely sure there's anything more I would pick up here.
Yep, and he did decide against it as CS Tutor has found Helmet Head. Oh, never mind. We knew what the item was for Helmet Head. We had gotten a hint for that previously.
Yes, but I forgot the hint.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta take this phone call real quick.
All good. See how MiRai's jackhammering skills are. Non-existent because Attack 5 absolutely deleted it. And CS Tutor unfortunately going to have to take a death here to place the gem and has to travel a little bit of a distance to find something to die on.
Yeah.
Hey, shout-outs to Crumb, gifted 5 subs in the channel.
You know, it's interesting. It's a very similar situation that Tutor's in now that was the catalyst for me starting to go more towards the take levels as you go strategy. Because this is the one major risk you take going for a power level strategy is it's not unheard of to be stuck having to take deaths in order to cast Fairy to get the keydoors.
Yeah, I used to do power leveling a lot more, and I'll these days only really consider it if I have any key.
Or if you have like 200 XP Red Dares off a spell.
Yeah,
I will power level it.
Yeah, if you could get yourself up to 2 casts of Fairy in like Magic 3 or something, because you've got extra magic containers early, then sure, you can consider power leveling. But yeah, it's just rough only having 1 cast of Fairy as you're doing this power leveling. Because again, yeah, like CS Tutor saw, you can lose some time to that. If you get a more complicated palace, it could be that it's just not possible to complete a palace with only 1 cast of Fairy. That is possible, and it could be very spooky.
Okay, now the moment of truth. MiRai did take it life 7. Will MiRai take attack 6?
I think MiRai is firmly of the belief that attack 6 is cheating, and if he does it at all, I will be incredibly surprised. We bullied him in chat earlier today into taking attack 6 in a seed where he wanted magic 6, but attack 6 was cheaper.
I'm gonna make a bold gamble. I'm gonna bet that MiRai elects to skip on attack 6 and goes for magic 7.
Yeah, magic 7 I could potentially believe, but attack 6, no way.
Caveat, of course, if it's literally get attack 6 off of one gem, get magic 7 off the next gem, maybe?
Yeah, maybe if it's just a stepping stone. Here's the item here. MiRai is going to use a cast of Fairy to get it. Doesn't even want to spend the extra couple seconds to get the 1-up.
Hey, that's an extra 2 casts of Fairy. But also, it's a 1-up and it's slow. Oh wait, no, 3. Well, was going to be 3 casts of Fairy. Now it's 2. Interestingly, a magic container would enable 4 Fairy casts. So. But also, you only have 1 left at this point when you're done here.
Yeah.
So the question is, how much Fairy casting do you think you're going to need to do in GP versus how much time is it going to take to figure out what the item in 1 is and then hope it's a magic container?
This P1 is going to be a bit of a concern for CS Tutor as well, because MiRai has already had to cast Fairy quite a number of times.
Yeah. CS Tutor's... Did we see the item in 4?
Yeah, it was the medicine in 4.
I was going to say, if we didn't see the item in 4, CS Tutor needs this to be the any key. Instead, it's just going to find Karok. And probably not go back to the item.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think at this point, any key could very well be hanging out in Spell Tower. And if that's the case, we are never going to see it.
Oh, I was going to say the rock.
Yeah, the rock also possible, but Spell Tower is funnier.
You know, I'd like to take the attack 6 here.
Yeah, once again, though, he's going to have to take a death for it unless he has a key in reserve that I didn't see, which he does.
He does.
Okay. Plenty quick, then.
So that's not too bad, but still.
Yeah.
And there is also the question of what attack level are you comfortable fighting T-Bird on? As much as I myself enjoy fighting T-Bird on attack 6, if my choices are attack 6 or magic 7, I'm probably taking magic 7 at this point.
Yeah, in this seed, I think, for sure.
Like, it's hard to say there's a one-size-fits-all algorithm outside of never go life 8 before attack 2.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain configurations that are, like, for sure wrong. MiRai doing a bit of a trick there. Picking up that magic container is going to despawn that locked door because of a vanilla bug. Yeah, the bug is actually related to the old despawning item rooms we used to have. This is a thing that I figured out doing some research. The game keeps track of whether you've gotten things, be it key doors, items from 50/50 drops, items from the item room, by tracking 1 bit per page of the room, so per quarter of a room. And it only has 1 bit for whether you got the thing in that area.
That makes sense.
So if you put 2 things in that area, if you get one of them and then respawn the room, either because you left or because you died, neither thing respawns because the game thinks you got both the things.
Nice.
That was why, for example, this item room that CS Tutor is in right now used to have that problem. Because the key door was on the same page as the item, if you open up the key door and then die, the item would despawn. And so when we were fixing those, for that room, all I did was I moved the key door one tile to the left, and that fixed the problem. Most of the rooms we fixed were like that, with the only exception being the room where you like cross over the top and then you have to go down. And there's a couple enemies, like the kind of more complicated one. MiRai had to redesign that room a decent amount to get it to work properly. But that room with the head and the door, I believe that's a vanilla room, so we didn't touch it. That's just a bug that was in vanilla, so the randomizer is going to keep it.
To answer a question that's come up in chat, the horse head that CS Tutor fought was the horse head for the item in a palace. That was not the boss horse head at the end of Palace 1.
Yeah, you can have Horsehead and Rebo can appear multiple times.
I'm waiting for my multiple Guma fights.
Yeah, I mean, that is a thing that probably could happen.
I guess from a technical standpoint, are there any bosses that it would be incredibly difficult, besides Thunderbird, because having Thunderbird appear in P1, while hilarious, would also be terrifying?
There would be some really weird palette issues if you tried putting Karok in another palace, but maybe. Part of the reason that that Horsehead and Rebo work so well is obviously there's an extra Rebo in vanilla, and then in the FDS version there's an extra Horsehead as well. But I don't actually know how well some of the other enemies would work. I suspect Guma probably would be fine.
Speaking of Guma, goodbye Guma.
Yep. MiRai making it look easy.
Yeah. Alright, moment of truth. What does MiRai do here?
Yep, there it goes.
Yep.
5, 6, 7 gonna be plenty enough for MiRai, and gonna be lighting the remaining gems on fire.
Yeah.
And yep, as we expected, P5 is down. Oh, so that was P. I had said P1 earlier, but that was P5, and MiRai gonna go through this very curvy, twisty-looking Valley of Death.
It feels like anytime Valley of Death is curvy and twisty like this, it's because they have to put. It's because of the force encounters that need to somehow show up and not break everything.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me. There's a bug with the forced encounters that I probably should fix. Oh, it's not a critical bug. I wanted to... You know how sometimes you can get a path where you need to enter from a certain side, and if you enter from the wrong side, you can get stuck in the mountain. You just have to go back. I just wanted to put a fix in for that so that it never sticks you into the mountain.
Ah.
Just to clean it up a little bit. It's never going to really hurt whether the sea can be beaten or not, but it would be nice if you can never end up in a mountain.
Yes, I agree. Also, I really like, as much as the custom rooms, I sometimes get confused by which one's a dead end, which one isn't. I really do like that the custom rooms exist because they breathe the same level of fresh air into Z2R that Shapes did Z1R.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of them, and it should be no surprise that I've been doing some work in the background. Hopefully, towards the end of this tournament, in a week or two, we should have a beta up for. I wanna do another room jam, get some more new rooms added. I've been doing a lot of work in the background to sort of streamline the process of being able to submit rooms and add them. So we should at least have some stuff that people can play around with in a beta relatively soon, hopefully. Assuming I fix more bugs than I create, which is not always true.
Wait, bugs ever get fixed? I thought just with software where bugs are just become features.
Yeah, you know, 99 bugs in the code. You take one down, you pass it around. 137 bugs in the code.
Also, I don't think Chad is interpreting your statement of never end up in a mountain correctly.
Yeah, I mean, Link should not be on top of a mountain tile. Death Mountain is going to continue to be the bane of all runners forever. I have no intention of making it easier.
Just secretly slip in an accidental, oops, there's a 50% chance that your glove is always in Hammer Cave.
Forget glove in Hammer Cave. Let's put hammer in Hammer Cave.
Yeah, but then you might be able to skip it. Just an automatic 50% chance you have to find Hammer Cave.
MiRai, not having a fun time in this P1. P1 is the shortest palace on average, but it can be a bit of a pain. Of course, as soon as I mentioned that, the commentator's blessing has fallen upon MiRai, and he's stabbing a horse in the face.
It's, that's like how when... I'm going to relate everything to Z1R because that's my main thing that I run. That's like when you walk into level 1, it's like, oh, it's 11 rooms, and you walk into 8 Blue Wizards, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
And similar, Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 randomizers have similar properties in that the palaces are sort of sharing a limited amount of space. And so if you get a really short Palace 1 and Palace 2, that means there's more space for rooms for Palace 5 to contain.
Folks, please observe MiRai's levels.
And MiRai has has brought shame upon his name. Maybe he's just playing it safe. He was just earlier today saying attack 6 is cheating, and that chat should feel bad for goading him into it. And here he is, attack 6, coming into GP.
Look, maybe he's decided that he's gonna change up the meta and make it where attack 7 is cheating attack 6.
I mean, I like attack 6, don't get me wrong, but...
I do too. T-Bird, but I mean, I do the Wibble Wobble, so for me, T-Bird is significantly more comfortable on attack 6 than attack 5.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm hearing attack 10 is cheating.
Oh
also,
no. This is the worst. When you have T-Bird right away, this is the worst.
Yeah, because then you're like, okay, now I get to go do the whole GP looking for the thing.
Right? Like, Dark Link has to be behind T-Bird. Which is, at this point, saying Dark Link has to be somewhere in the palace.
I should learn how to do the pendulum one of these days, because look at how safe and consistent.
Yeah, it's safe and consistent for sure. MiRai is doing some double stabs with some down stabs there, and that is significantly harder than it looks.
You can also hit Thunderbird with the up stab, but you don't get the little bouncy effect.
Yeah,
that was a Bird Knight.
Yep, Bird Knight just jumping in the lava for good measure. But yeah, no. If you're just trying to do the pendulum and you're just doing the standard 3 hits one way, 2 hits the other, yeah, it's real safe and doesn't take too long to learn.
That's a room exists.
Yeah, got more birds.
I think we spawn the Bird Knight and go back.
Yeah, and MiRai agrees with you.
We're hearing now that the candle is cheating.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much the candle is cheating as much as it's just not good.
Hey, it's great if you don't like getting smashed in the face by Gerald arms every time you walk through the cave.
Yep. Okay, CS Tutor is going to take down yet another horse head that is not the correct horse head. Ooh.
There's 2 horse heads in P1.
Yeah, CS Tutor getting to the right side of horse head is a little bit dangerous. Horse head's hitbox is skewed substantially up and left, and if you get to the right side of him, it can be actually really hard to hit him.
Yeah.
And yeah, CS Tutor has now found the 3rd spell item hanging out in a palace.
Any key being on the rock or in the spell tower is now significantly more likely than it was.
Yeah, almost guaranteed at this point.
I mean, I think there's one other location that hasn't been checked. The 7 containers BBC now.
Yeah, we haven't. I don't think we got a granny check from either player either.
And at this point, we're not going to.
Nope.
I mean, MiRai's in GP, and Tutor doesn't necessarily need anything. Might like the any key, but doesn't need anything. 7-3-3 now. I believe that enables an additional cast of Fairy.
Yes, it's 6 containers. I think that's true.
I'm gonna go ahead and get that little link doll. Probably gonna burn this gem.
MiRai having, I think it's unlikely he's gonna burn the gem. This is probably where he takes his power levels.
He doesn't have the XP too.
Oh wow, he doesn't. Just go with his 7-3-4. Okay, not unreasonable.
But still has, I believe, a gem to place keys. Yeah, he hasn't done the palace in the left yet, so he'll be able to get a power level there.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to get a power level out of 3, but in 6 he probably will be able to.
He'll get a power level out of 3 if he decides to go for the power level.
Well, no, isn't 3 like 2 rooms long?
There has to be a way to get to the item, else what? Like, I don't think logically the item can just not be accessible.
Yeah. There are other enemies, but I severely doubt he's gonna go hunt them down.
I think it depends on how much XP Rebo gives, because if Rebo gives 500, he doesn't actually need to go hunt down enemies.
No problem on Rebo for CS Tutor.
And Rebo gives 200. Has to cast Fairy again. Now, if CS Tutor does not get a power level out of P6, then this is going to be a rough GP on Magic 4, Magic 5.
Oh, interesting. CS Tutor sort of just giving up on the power leveling and taking life 5.
Well, I mean, if CS Tutor can get enough XP to power level in P6, would be good.
Yeah, I don't remember how much Barbara was.
I think
That can make a big difference.
1,000.
If Barbara's 1,000, then he'll have no problem.
Yeah, I seem to recall Barbara was particularly high.
Barbara, definitely the boss that has the most variance in how much XP it can give you. You can get 1,000 or you can get 300.
Yeah, it's a bunch of butts. It's butts when it's 300.
For sure.
But at this point, I think, Tutor has to have not lost P6.
Yeah, and MiRai has checked a lot of rooms here in GP.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that you need if you're Tutor. Is a long GP.
Yep, a long GP where who knows where the path is, as MiRai finds a 4-way.
Oh joy, it's a 4-way, which leads to another elevator.
This could be the same. This is not the room. This is the
like,
hill elevator room.
Oh, it looped.
I think he's seen that room.
I like the suggestion of Dark Link being in P6.
That is for real not a good idea. In terms of how easy that would be to program. I mean, if somebody wants to write the assembler, I'm down, but it's a totally different bank. So yeah, MiRai had seen that before, so he's going to check a different route in this 4-way. He's going to go up, and it's just another fork.
That would actually be interesting, though, if you could have Shuffle, T-Bird, and Dark Link between palaces. So they have to appear in the same palace cell, but JP is a palace you can actually go do for a gem. And the barrier shows up at whatever palace has a Thunderbird, Dark Link. I don't know how technically feasible that is to do. I'm good at coming up with ideas that are terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I would much rather hear a bunch of terrible ideas along with the good ones than not have any ideas.
Considering I'm the person that suggested Oops All Dead Rock for a link for the past.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody would play it.
We can have all sorts of pain and suffering.
Yeah.
Like we could add all swamps mode from Dragon Warrior Randomizer.
Oh, that would be fun. Oh, that's okay. That's interesting. Gonna take the magic point here.
Yeah, that I think is CS Tutor just maybe. I mean, still, if he gets 1,000 points for Barba, like he can still take, an attack 8 worth of other levels.
Yeah, I mean, considering that the blue Iron Knuckle just gave 300 XP. Interesting. Gonna skip the keys.
FDS elevators are just the fast elevators, right? I could probably do that. I'm not sure I could get the sound, but...
Just use the Metroid elevator sound, problem solved.
Oh, the slow ones.
Sound.
Yeah, I mean, we could get slow elevators, fast elevators. That's probably very easy to do.
Elevator speed randomized for dungeon.
Oh no.
Some dungeons it's fast, some dungeons you're just sitting there getting plonked by a blue Iron Knuckle 3 times because it moves at the speed of molasses. Oh, and not enough to cast fairy.
Yeah, but also like
It's also the item.
Yeah. I don't think he wants it. I don't think he's gonna go out of his way to get it. I'll put it that way. And yeah, man, these attack 7 just 2 shots these blue Iron Knuckles. He's gonna have no problems with experience.
Yeah, that's enough right there. If Barba's at 1k like we expect gets that, that'll get a level up. Although, it'll be interesting to see if Tutor does take the next level up here. If they get enough magic for it.
Oh.
Or enough magic, enough XP for it. Wow,
Right, taking his first death here in GP, he didn't have enough magic to cast Fairy, and this room configuration extremely rude.
Alright, so the sub-hour's still alive, but Darklink has to be, like, right here.
I mean, it very well could be. We've seen, like, a million rooms.
Oh, hey, look, it's the other end of a drop room.
Just what we wanted.
Now, this will be a faster Barba for Tutor. And Thunderbird will also be faster.
As Barba is already dead.
Oh, doesn't take the attack 8 levels.
Okay.
That all right. That might that could have been Tutor thinking, okay, I don't have enough XP to get the attack 8, but
he did.
Yeah, that would have been a couple of levels easy instead of going in with 756, which is kind of rough. Not impossible, but just a little rough.
MiRai getting manhandled by all these birds here. Shield helping a ton, but pretty rough room.
It would help if the Bird Knights.
And the dream of sub 1 hour has been realized here. There's Darklink as CS Tutor just now entering GP.
Tutor will probably see Thunderbird before Darklink goes down, given Thunderbird was pretty much at the beginning, especially if this Bird Knight cooperates in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, probably. It's going to take him a while just to stab through these waffles, and MiRai is basically done.
Yep. And everyone please get your GGs in chat for MiRai finishing with 58-16-ish. I don't have the race.
I got the race for official time 58-15. And yeah, I mean, sub hour, that's a fast time. I mean, if you're MiRai, that's the kind of time you want for seeds that were effectively free like this one. And unfortunately, CS Tutor's not finding that sunken cave just cost him enough time, a GP worth of time.
Yeah. And really a lot of that came also from finding the hidden cave, which, if it had the any key, this is a little bit of a different situation because
for sure,
Tutor doesn't have to take that to cast.
Yeah, and MiRai may have been worrying about not having a key either. I know he usually likes to like scum a key for GP to be able to do the key required room if it comes up, but without having any key here, I don't think he had a key in reserve, and just that room isn't very common, but it does happen, and it could have been a serious problem for him if it did happen, I think.
Yeah. Right, there should be a little bit of a quicker Thunderbird fight for Tutor having attack 7, which is going to take less stabs.
Yeah, probably one more is going to be good. Yeah, attack 7 doing quite a bit of damage. And we'll see if he decides he wants to finish up here. Looks like he's going to. Okay, Cooper pointing at MiRai. MiRai did grab a key after placing his last gem. I know he typically does that, but I must have missed it. Ooh, Tutor taking a lava bath, and we'll see if he decides to up A. Given it so early, now he's going to keep going. And we are joined here by MiRai. GG, and congrats on moving on.
My God, thank you for the GG. What a GP, man.
Yeah, we both had a prediction that you would finish sub 1, that we made, maybe 20 minutes into the seed, and you were kind of close there.
Yeah, I mean, walked into GP, 47 flat or something like that? I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was just ultra jet.
I mean, the game gave you everything you needed kind of just free, and then, well, Palace 3 basically didn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I even having the hints, okay, I mean, ask me whatever, we'll go over this. I'm running, my heart's racing 100 miles an hour with that GP. Oh my God, I'm pretty sure I full cleared that thing.
Well, I only have one question for you, and that is, why are you cheating over here?
Attack 6, yeah, I knew it. Because I had to go back for that key, and I was like, I'm not just going to skip attack 6, dude. I can't do that right here, right now. But I gave a look to the camera. I'm sure you guys can see the camera. I gave a look to the camera, give the thumbs up or something like that. I did something.
Yep. I'd ask the question that's not about attacks. So, it was kind of, we were kind of debating whether or not you were going to go back to the west after getting the fairy spell to get down stab, or just finish clearing out the east without it. So I'm kind of curious about what was the deciding factor in choosing to go ahead and get the down stab and clear the west, then come back to the east, and then go back to Duke.
So, a few things there. First, I couldn't remember if I grabbed the child or not. I honestly have done this before, where you grab a spell item and then you're moving so fast in that Dry Canyon West, and I'm like, did I grab the child? I mean, I ran some seeds earlier today, and I'm thinking, maybe I'm remembering grabbing the child at that point. And I'm like, I'm just going to go check. I know this is 3 screens. I'm wasting my time if I don't have it, but I'm just going to go check. So I checked, and clearly I didn't have the child. So then I had wasted some time there, and I had to double dip. I knew I was going to have to probably double dip Darunia, simply because jump was behind a spell item that I probably wasn't going to stumble upon at that point, although still possible. But if I hadn't, I'm going to need upstab. That's like the safest thing to do, and it's right next to P4 there under 3-Eyed Rock. So I wasted some time right there, and I saw the cave that had the hammer. I saw that cave, and I'm like, I will just loop back around to that. And of course, it's got the hammer, so I kind of couldn't clear out New Kasuto when I first saw it, and I couldn't open it up, and I had to go. I obviously didn't know the hammer was going to be there. It was going to be either in Sunken, or it was going to be on the maze at that point, or Hammer Cave, I guess. And there were only four checks left. I assume that Medicine Cave was boulder blocked on the west. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I hope that's accurate.
I think from our knowledge that is accurate.
Okay. So I had 4 checks left. It was Sunken. It was, again, Maze Island or Hammer Cave. And I'm like, well, something's going to open up here. And that happened to be the hammer. I'm like, okay, well, I can walk it back to New Kasuto and do that. And I'm not going to go to the maze right now. It was, as fast as all of that was, you saw me even walking out of New Kasuto, because that's me debating if I should go back at that point. But I never like to stand still, because you're just like wasting time if you're standing still. So I started to walk it out. I'm like, am I going back? Like, I'm trying to route this in my head. I'm like, okay, we got 3 and 6 over there. I know 3 is the heart. GP is over there. It's like, you could just save that to last. But then I'm thinking that this seed is so fast, and I wasted a little bit of time there, that I'm thinking Tutor could jet this just as easily as I have jetted this. And I got to go back and get downstab, because if I don't, I'm going to bleed time. I don't know where these bosses are in these palaces. I don't know how fast they're going to be. If I got to fight a bunch of Doom Knockers and Blue Iron Knuckles and nonsense along the way, I need downstab to be able to make this faster. So I felt that was probably the easiest way to go, especially because I knew I wasn't going to need the item out of 3. I forgot the candle over there in 6, and then it was off to the races. We knew items 1, 2, and 3 from just hints, and I'm sorry if that's a convoluted answer, but yeah, I felt ultimately that I could go 3, 6 pretty easily, and then clear out everything else in kind of a clockwise fashion of 4 to 2 to 5. I guess that's not exactly clockwise, but 4, 2, 5, and then back to 1 and get out of there and hopefully have a key in my pocket when I leave 1. And luckily there was that one room with the blocks that had the key. Could have had a pee bag, could have had a jar, could have been anything, but it was a key. And I was like, all right, great, that's a key. And then we can get out of there. Because I left some keys in 5 as well. But I was like, I don't really want to walk back to 5 from Death Valley. So I don't know if that answered the question. That was kind of a lot of talking there. Again, man, my heart is racing right now.
For what it's worth, that did answer the question. And I do actually really appreciate the level of detail that you gave.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's all about that routing, and it's like that Dry Canyon West. There's nothing stopping you from doing anything. I felt, you know, whether 3, whatever 3 was, whichever one was 3 or 6, it didn't matter. I don't have a problem fighting either boss. And I thought, you know what, I'm probably just gonna, we're gonna get the hint for medicine as well while I go to get downstab, and I felt that I could maybe get another magic container along the way if I ran into an item room in like 4 or 5, and I did run into it in 5, and it was just a 1-up, or 6 again, but that ended up being the candle, and then yeah, so just those 3 palaces, and then there was nothing else that I could find. I kind of gave a little bit of a look around right there when I first saw the maze. There was a lot of open area around P5 on the maze there, and then that little tiny loop on the bottom half that had 2 encounters. I'm like, all right, well, I'm out of here. I don't know if I should look. That was before I found the hammer and Sunken. And I was like, I don't know if I should look in the maze because nothing might be here. But do we know what was in the maze today?
It was a magic container and some other thing that I forget what it was.
Yeah, just minor items.
Okay.
Nothing relevant.
I was concerned the key might be there, because if it was like not going to be hammer somewhere, then the key's got to be somewhere if the hammer's in the palace. You know, because Fairy's in New Casuto.
We did not see the key at all from either runner. Tutor ended up checking quite a bit more.
Okay.
But we know it's going to be probably either in New Casuto and no one picked it up, or it is in Spec Rock. Those were the only places we didn't see. We did see all the palace items, all 3 spell items hanging out in the palaces, along with the candle.
Yeah.
But none of the 3 spell items required today, so basically 20 minutes you were in go mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, please... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Please get your DDs in chat for CS Tutor, finishing with a 107.20-ish.
Yep, dead on to the race room. 107.20 GGs.
Yeah, I mean, with as fast as he routed, the previous seeded, he was walking into GP. I think people said it was 52 minutes, and I was like, this one's another Dry Canyon West. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Can we? I mean, it's fine. It's just it's going to be Jet right off the bat, and then Boots on the West to an Islands East, and it was just there's nothing slowing us down at all. And now the main concern is when it's an Ultra Jet, how fast can you play it? Now, I will say this was actually kind of weird. So I've got this new TV as a monitor in front of me, and this hasn't happened to me yet, but when I switched over to, anyone who knows I run with an FPGA, switched over to the NES core, and something weird happened where it kind of cut out on the TV and it didn't come back, and I had to switch sources again. Something happened, and I've been playing the whole C with a bunch of additional input lag on my side. So I feel like I'm playing on an emulator right now, which is not amazing. And I was so concerned about that. I don't know what happened there. You might have seen me lean forward at one point to hit the source button on my HDMI switcher splitter thingy and try to resync whatever variable refresh rate I needed to, but it didn't. And I don't know what to do at that point. I was like, I can't restart this unit. And as jetty as all of this is, I felt like I had zero time to do anything. So this whole thing felt a little bad from my side. And man, that was eating away at me the entire time as well. I'm like, man, just stay with it, man. Just keep your head in the game. It's ultra fast. Who cares if it feels like you're playing an emulator right now? Just go. So
yeah, attack and magic levels both looked very reasonable today. So
yeah,
not a hugely difficult combat scene, although there were a lot of birds in that 6 or the GP.
Yeah. I was a little concerned about not having jump, as I think most people are, and I took some just bad hits. I took some bad hits in there, and there's another thing with as much as I started exploring and I started taking deaths, and I had 2 lives when I took that last death right before I think what was Darklink's elevator, and I thought I would have only had 1, so I picked up one up along the way, but I don't remember where I picked another one up, or maybe I just didn't. Oh, Thunderbird gave us a 1 up, so that's where that came from. Okay. So that makes sense. Yeah, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I've only got 1 life left after I die here, and I'm like, no, I got 2.
Yeah,
But that makes
bosses were
sense.
very kind today. Handed out 1
Yeah.
ups.
Yeah, that was great. Super fast as well. You can just ferry up there, grab the 1 up, and kill the scroll lock on the screen and just start moving right away. Saves. I mean, if you're looking to walk into GP at 47 minutes flat, you're trying to shave any frames and seconds off here and there that you can. So that I felt really good. Other than 5 was a little bit of a dig, and I can see how you could get lost in 6, and I think you could get lost in 2 as well. I don't know. There was that junction in 2 that went down and right, and then there was a left. And I recognize that that's an elevator room that goes up. And I'm like, well, go down and right or just go up this elevator, and went up the elevator and then went right. And it led to another elevator that led up to, what's his nuts, Helmet Head. And I was like, well, you could technically maybe have looped around here another way. So I don't know if this was the go-to route or not. So I'm not sure.
I think you and CS Tutor took very similar routes there.
Okay.
At least in terms of the amount of time it took you to beat it. So.
Yeah, and of course the 50-50 at the start of 1, the 2 lefts, the 1 that leads to the item room, the other one that leads to the boss. That's always the gamble, the coin flip right there.
Yep.
3 was immediately into Rebo. 4, I don't really recall. It wasn't too bad. 5 was just the longest palace for me, and I don't know if anyone could have gambled the right direction. I don't know, but I didn't full clear it. But at the same time, I definitely saw a chunk of it.
Yeah, the palaces basically seemed like half of them were full clears and half of them were blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
Or at least very short. 3 especially was a good solid 3 rooms long, if you count the entrance.
Yeah. And I believe that ding is CS Tutor joining us.
GG's.
Hi, GG's.
GG Tutor.
Yeah, unfortunately, you not finding that sunken P-bag cave the first time through to the east just ended up sending you on a goose chase. And by the time you found it, I mean, you had pretty quick clears, but MiRai sub-houring the seed ended up just being a little bit too much.
Yeah.
When things are like ultra jet like this, it's really hard to like leave things behind. It's, we've got a free west. We have a free DM. Technically, I even looked around for a bridge before even taking the raft just to make sure that there wasn't another connection. So I kind of looped around the perimeter of DM just to make sure that there wasn't a bridge sitting anywhere. And I was like, all right, well, I think I'm clear. So let's just take this raft and see where it goes. And of course, it's an island's east. We already have the boots. And I'm like, okay, well, everything is essentially free here. We're just looking for another bridge as well that, because I saw both caves on the west to DM, raft to the east, and of course then that just leaves bridge to the maze, and finding the bridge on an eastern continent like that's islands with the boots is no big deal. So from there it was just the floodgates were open. We just needed to find things, man. And I hate leaving things behind, and I wasn't 100% sure like on the west that Medicine Cave was boulder blocked, although I get confirmation that it seemed like it was, and I thought it was, but I felt a little bad maybe leaving that behind, like it might have been open and there might have been a key or something in there. So I know that feeling, dude. Was it just that you like left it behind to go somewhere else, or?
Well, I thought I was in go mode.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was.
Especially after flute, let's just go. I mean, the two spells I had, fairy and reflect. I mean, if they're available right now, then we don't need to check anything else as far as I'm concerned. Of course, it's not. It's so doing everything.
I
don't
saw.
know. I just like this is the second one in a row with glove like within the first like minute of the seed. I'm like, yeah, great. I don't like this at all. Like,
Well, I mean, you smoked me in that one, man. I was busy off doing something else in Death Mountain. Whoever knows what was there. I got the RSVP to show up at a meeting in Death Mountain, and nothing was there. And I mean, that one you were in game 2. You were, I believe 10 minutes into GP ahead of me. So that one was cruising for you. But that's what I was saying when I came in here, dude. Is that
I don't know. Like, I was sorry, but I mean, like, the GP to me felt bullshit. I'm sorry, but sorry about the words, but like that GP was horrible. I don't know what it was. It just felt like something was going to go wrong on that seed because there's no seed that has ever gone perfectly for me where it's just like everything goes well as far as I'm concerned. So I'm just like, where is it? What's going to be terrible for me? And like, oh, it's this GP. It's like the most random crap. Like, because easily, if you had just picked the correct drop down, you would have won that race. Because I had to do everything before I actually found it. And if you actually found it first, 100% you would have won that. So that's why I just like, I wasn't that far ahead, like as far as because of what the GP was specifically. That's in hindsight, but I mean, because I don't know.
Yeah, you mean the last seed?
Yeah, the last seed, not this seed. But in this seed, I don't know. The GP was not. I don't know if it was a faster way to do it other than what I did it. It was okay for me, like, but. And I thought my P5 and P6 were all right, considering where the bosses were. But by the time I had found Hammer, I'm like, this is a 10-minute go mode seed, as far as I'm concerned. And so I just did not feel like I was ever going to win this. And I'm like, great, this is another one where I have to be done in 60 minutes. And it's like, well, I didn't. So it's just frustrating. Like in this entire run, all I've been getting is like 60-minute seeds. And there was only 2, and the 2 were not even restreamed. So like, well, everything else felt like I had to be done by 60. And I'm like, this is just, it turned out to be like such not that fun for me. And I'm kind of glad I'm out, to be honest. Like, because it's just the seeds themselves, but I get rolled for just not that fun to play. Like, and I don't like it when I have to be forced into getting go mode super quick and then go through the dungeons super quick because I'm just like rushing to find the bosses and hoping that I find the boss before like I'm last location, because that's pretty much what it felt like to me. Like, but that's not just this seed. It's most of the seeds I got rolled the entire time. So it was fun. The turning itself is fine, and the flags I feel like are fine, but it just did not reflect what I was doing in practice. And so I'm like, well, that's kind of why I didn't practice at all before this, because I'm like, whatever I get in practice is not going to end up what's on the actual seed. So like, who cares really at this point? So it's fine. Like, I'm not upset with you or anything like that, but I'm really tired of.
I hear you, man. There's a bit of variance to the flags and the way that they end up with the different biomes and whatnot. You know, the islands doesn't have to be such a jet. You know, we just happen to have the boots and Dry Canyon, and the combination of that makes it be ultra jet. But I mean, it's as nerve wracking for me as it is for you. You know, I mean, I'm fully aware that you're a capable runner here, and if you take a direction in a palace, and I'm spending 6-7 minutes in there, and you're done in 2. You know, I've just bled 5 minutes of time, and the big concern is like, where's the bosses? Where are the bosses? You know, especially when you get your logic into palaces and whatnot. And so, I hear you, man. You know, if I'm walking by Hammer, I didn't find Hammer Cave, but you know what? It could have been a key sitting in there. That hammer could have been sitting in there. Anything could have, And it gets very nerve-wracking when you have so much open and everything's moving so quickly, and you have to make these decisions very quickly.
Yeah.
But I hear you, man. I hear you. But yeah, currently, I mean, we got Elendar in the chat here. Currently there's no. Well, I don't know. I mean, it really depends. Like, again, I think Alan turned on the 50, the three-eyed rock, guaranteed to be a palace, and New Casuto guaranteed to be under the forest tile if it's there, simply to kind of try to extend the way that these flags end up being. But sometimes, I mean, here it is, boots into water tile, free flute into three-eyed rock. There was no hunting for a flute. There was a little hunt for hammer, but it was just kind of chilling right there in Sunken. But yeah, I mean, it had jet. This one just had jet written all over it, and I hear you though, man. Sometimes we're looking at 80 minutes, whereas you don't walk into GP until close to the 70-minute mark, where sometimes you're walking in around some hour.
Yeah, I don't think I got any of those kind of seeds this entire time. Either it was just flat out terrible at 1 hour and 30, or it was just a 60 minutes, which there was nothing in the middle, basically. Like, I'm not sure how that happened specifically. But I don't, honestly, like, if the GP wasn't what it was, it would have been a 60-minute, the last seed, the second seed. Like, if it wasn't what it was, it would have been a 60 for sure. Because that one was fast, go mode 2. I mean, like, everything just felt fast, and so I've been having to deal with that the entire time, and it's made Z2R not that fun. But when I'm playing it by myself, like, it was fun. Like, I actually was not feeling like everything was just a rush job. I feel like, and so. And to me, I want to enjoy this game. I want to enjoy this game a little bit more, and I have been enjoying this game more, but than Z3R lately. But it's just the seeds that I've been getting have just not been that fun to play, I guess, in general. But it's like I said, it's fine. Like, I'm not upset. I'm kind of glad I'm out, because I've been having to deal with stuff from the Z3R side lately, and not having to do a tourney right now is fine. Like,
absolutely, dude. It's can be rough. Tournament stress and anything else going on in real life, juggling all that.
All right. Well, GG to our runners, MiRai and cstutor. Please give them a follow. Also give a follow to our commentators, Elendar and Alsoa. On our ZSR family of channels, we have some more races from Zelda 2 Randomizer, Tears of the Kingdom Any %, and Ocarina of Time Randomizer. But don't touch that dial. Coming up shortly, we have another Zelda 2 Randomizer standard tournament race between the Alan Heffley and the Gob one. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.